Hello and welcome to our CAN TV Chicagoland Motorcycle Toys for Tots Motorcycle Parade television show. And this show is designed to inform everyone along Chicago that December 2nd, which will be our 41st parade, there'll be a lot of activity on Western Avenue, mostly motorcycles. With me today, my name is George Fortier, the current president of our wonderful organization. Next to me is a former board member, Andy Stremp. How you doing, Andy?
Very good.
By the way,
Thank you very much for inviting me on.
And we have Gary Diamond on the phones. We'll get him on the show later on. And I hope everybody could call in and see what's going on here. So tell me, Gary, what did you do on the board?
Andy, you mean?
Andy. Gary's on the phones.
I was a board of director roughly around the period of 2001. And actually prior to that, I was working on a collectible committee for probably 3 years. Then was a board member for roughly 3 years.
Okay.
What I worked specifically was I was bylaws and historian at that point. We also we were very active all over the city and did everything we could to spread the good name of Chicagoland Toys for Tots, get us involved with many of the organizations, do whatever we could.
Yes, we've been doing this for a while, and thank you. I'd like to personally thank Andy Stremp for coming down here, taking a part of his busy life and getting trained on our phones in case we need someone to back us up, in case someone doesn't show up to this live television show. So how's it feel? It's been a while since you've been on TV,
It's been a while. I was trying to make some notes because...
feels kind of funny without a number underneath your neck, huh?
Exactly, exactly. But, I was looking, it was funny. I was trying to put some notes together and looking over the history of Chicagoland Toys for Tots. It's a great organization. I mean, our goal is to make sure every child has a toy at Christmas, and we do everything we can to accomplish that.
You'd be amazed how many people were or can remember being helped by this organization when they were little. Okay.
And when this organization started in 1978, there was roughly 5 or 6 members that started, and within 10 years it grew to 4,000 members. So, and it's the Chicagoland motorcycle community loves us.
Yes.
And all the various organizations throughout the city are involved with us, so it's a good thing.
And I like to say they all know who we are because that first Sunday in December, if you see somebody on a motorcycle, what are you going to think? You know where they're going.
Exactly.
But if they're middle of May, you have no idea where they're going. And I've been on bike runs where you stop at the same checkpoint and end up going the wrong way. Remember? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's part of being a biker.
And along with that, I know you're heavily involved with that young lady that we try to do something for every year.
We try to get involved with a lot of different organizations and do what we can to spread our good name and help others.
That's right.
And it's funny. I mean, it's just, this is the world's largest motorcycle parade.
Yes, in the known galaxy, because I'm not sure they got motorcycles on these other planets.
And we've got to make sure that, what's allowed in the parade, Lester? What kind of vehicles?
Well, we need motorcycles, and they have to be properly insured and plated. Okay, I was informed by the city of Chicago they will not put up with anyone who disguises their license plate. Okay, and all our guys are instructed that if they see someone disguising their license plate on their motorcycle, they will be told either to remove whatever is keeping you from seeing the plate, license plate, or to simply remove themselves from the parade. Exactly. We're not going to allow anybody who is that selfish or think they're that important to affect the history of the parade and keep from kids getting help next year or the year after that. We just can't put up with that. And I hope you understand what I'm saying. That's kind of bad.
And in terms of the route and staging for the parade, we stage at Dan Ryan Woods, which is roughly at 83rd and Western.
Correct.
In Chicago, and it'll run northward all the way to Lane Tech.
Correct.
And
you make one right turn and then you make one left turn.
And we've had people say that, it's a pretty easy parade. All you do is you go around in a circle, you come out, you make a right turn, you make a left turn.
That's
so
right.
Even for us old guys, that's
it's
pretty
amazing.
easy.
It's amazing what the 600, 700 full-time members of this organization can get done that day.
So when we ride down Western Avenue, we ride 2 abreast. We try to always make sure that that right lane is open as a fire lane for emergency vehicles or blockers.
Right.
So the main thing is if you're riding in our parade, ride two abreast, try to make sure that you don't leave any large gaps.
Right, but
And-
ride comfortably. Don't ever try and, if you override what your experience lets you, okay? We understand that. Most of your accidents, in my opinion, are because they're trying to keep up with somebody else and maybe they're not that comfortable riding it. But if you really want to be safe, join the organization. We'll give you a vest and you get the whole right lane to yourself. Right?
Right. You know, in terms of the way our groups are made up at the Woods, they're made up in tiers.
Yep.
It could go, depending on the weather that day, it could, if it's a very, very nice day, we could have 6 or 7 tiers. And a tier basically is a large group of motorcycles that's going to be handled by the blockers within that group. I'm actually a Tier 1 blocker, and I've been
Okay.
that since I started. And what we do is we guide that tier down Western Avenue. And there's going to be a gap in between Tier 1, Tier 2, and so on.
That's to let cross traffic and bus traffic go. You have no idea, maybe some of you do. Bandy, you're a former board member, nothing's changed. If anything, it's gotten more complicated. We must have meetings with the CTA, the Chicago Police Department, the Fire Department. We got to lay plans in case of an event of an emergency, how to reroute the parade. Because once something this big stops, it takes forever to start. Okay?
And a couple notes, at least in terms of safety things. Don't throw any candy from the motorcycles. Then
Correct.
you have little kids running out in the street, and there's a possibility of them getting hit by another motorcycle or by actually a rolling blocker down on the side. Don't be picking up any toys along the way. At the end of the tier or end of the parade, we'll have a vehicle that will pick up any loose
Correct.
toys. And again, keeping it safe for everyone.
And as you get staged when you're coming into the Woods and 83rd and Western, if you get separated from your friends, they're still going to be your friends, but you will be separated from them. We cannot start moving bikes around once they get staged in the Woods themselves proper. And I guess a tier would be anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 motorcycles, depending upon how many people come in. And we use the Woods to like cycle the bikes and slow them down a little bit, because we can't just let, they said like 56,000 motorcycles were there last year. That's an awful lot of motorcycles.
And like Lester was saying, once you're riding in the parade, you don't want to leave any large gaps, because then you get bikes that are speeding up, slowing down, and you get that rubber band effect. It's best to keep an even keel along Western Avenue, a nice smooth ride.
And getting back to your other question, I don't think I answered it well enough. Not only does it have to be an insured, properly plated vehicle, but we are keeping up with the times. What do they call them? Can-Ams and slingshots and such. We had a nice group of them come up, and they had some really nice toys on their bike, and we welcome them. We welcome Vespas, mopeds. As long as it's properly plated and you're insured, we do not have a problem with you participating in the parade.
For me, as Tier 1 blocker, I can count on it. I'm hoarse by the time I get home, because as I'm driving down Tier 1 on Western Avenue, I'm actually making sure that none of the riders on the side of the that are parked on the side enter the parade until the end of the tier.
Right.
It becomes a very dangerous situation, and sometimes you got to raise your voice because the bikes are so loud, and make sure that the bikes don't come up, because it can cause havoc.
And more people are watching the parade, and I've noticed at some of the corners at some of these establishments, the people actually start walking themselves into the lanes. So we got to do a much better job of keeping them on the curb. You know what I'm saying?
Correct, and that's, it's important. Wait till the tier ends before you jump into the parade, so to speak. Don't enter.
And please don't do that. We're not going to stop the parade for you, but a lot of people that jump in, they jump right back out again. Some of us take it personal. I try to tell them, once we get going, don't stop. We'll deal with it at the end.
Correct.
It's not fair for the thousands of people behind you.
So as we make this long journey down Western Avenue, and all the good people on the side are cheering us on, and then we basically get to the parking area at Lane Tech. We enter that area, and there'll be folks, volunteers, that'll basically point you in a direction for a safe parking space and get you to that location.
Right, and then you have a place to drop off your new unwrapped toy. We'll have people in these semi-trucks sorting them as you get them. So you're in Tier 1, eh?
Tier 1. Been
So-
there since I started.
So you wear sunglasses on cloudy days, right?
Correct.
From all the flashes?
Correct.
Yeah.
Not, oh, no, I'm not, I don't ride at the front of the.
People at Tier 1 are not tired of waving. By the time I get, well, I've been towards the front myself. I came out of Tier 2. They're all tired of waving by the time I got past.
I'm not at the beginning.
I'm just kidding.
But with Santa, but I am with
you
the
know what I'm
bikes
talking
as they,
about,
yes,
yeah.
I am. But I've been there since the beginning, and actually the person that got me involved with Chicagoland Toys for Tots was Phil Dustin, whose
wow.
his health is not really that great. So let's hope
wow.
everybody puts a prayer in for that guy. He was a good guy.
Yes, he is. And just to put everything, we actually have a forward tier in front of Tier 1. I like to call them the Pathfinders.
Those are the Flash group.
Yeah, probably. But they make sure and ensure that the road is clear for the parade to progress, and that's a very good idea. The original founder of this organization went down Western Avenue because it's one of the few streets in Chicago that is that long without any railroad tracks. So any way of stopping the parade, you know what I mean? That's they asked him once why he went down Western, and that was why.
Now, we have a lot of different groups that ride with us.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I got to give a plug. I'm with the Jersey Pine Cruisers. I'm also with Hog Chapters and with Vet Clubs, Illinois Motorcycle Freedom Run. So we have a lot of...
Yeah, they have elections coming up.
We have so many different Chicagoland, Indiana, and Wisconsin clubs that come down and ride with us.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable. And even though it's some of the coldest weather we have during that period, and not the greatest for a motorcycle ride, we have so many different clubs and people. It's so encouraging. Lester,
I don't know how many times I've heard from people going on vacation to Las Vegas, or Los Angeles, New York, Florida. They all see these shirts. So we are real, okay? It's not like, we're not just in Chicago, and it's amazing. And how many phone calls we get saying we're going to think about doing it in our city. How do you do it? It's kind of hard to explain. First of all, you need a city that likes you. Secondly, you need CAN TV over here, CAN TV 21, who allows us the honor of being here. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be able to reach out to all these people in Chicago, because I'm sure everybody just can't wait to start calling us and asking us a bunch of questions.
well, let's hope they do. So, there's some people out there that may say, where do all these toys go, Lester?
Yes, I'll go in my house, I play with them in the basement.
But your house is not that big.
I don't have a basement. Yeah. They go to all the underprivileged children in Chicagoland, and I wish everybody could experience being on the toy committee, because all the toys get dropped off over there, and they sort them by age and gender and put them in toy boxes, and then as those people are sorting them, we're receiving letters. This organization insists upon a paper trail, okay? You have to write out the letter, give us a brief description why you need assistance for your family, tell us how old they are, and boy or girl, and we'll do our best to meet these needs. But we need a copy of that, because once we approve you, we'll put the toys in a bag, and we will tape a copy of that letter to the bag per child so they know where they're going. And we know where we're going because we keep track of all those letters. You put them in these really big books in case anybody says, hey, where's my toy going? And I can show them.
And we have various committees. So, we're always looking for volunteers within our organization, even if you don't have a motorcycle. We're looking for people that will, with a motorcycle, to come in the parade to help us get this formation from start to finish. Also, we're looking for stationary road blockers, people to help us on the corners, to block the corners of cars and people, so that when the motorcycles run down, that'll keep our parade safe and no one will get injured.
So you remember back in the old days when we didn't have stationary, because I still thank them every time I see them. Remember getting off the bike with a flag and hoping the next guy would relieve you, and you leapfrog all the way up town with. You were tired when you got done.
And we still do leapfrogging, and it's just
in the event we have to, like for parking lots and such.
And when we talk about that, in terms of safety, for the safety for the people, we don't want folks crossing the street while those motorcycles are. I've had so many instances over the years. I've been with the organization almost 25 years.
Wow.
So many times that people get a little frustrated and want to either drive their car or run across the street with the motorcycles, and it's just, there's a lot of danger involved there, and we want to make sure everybody is safe.
And we deal with the city of Chicago, of course. We got to thank them for allowing us to do this parade. I don't think we could if they didn't get behind us. And then once in a while we get an issue and we have to deal with it, okay? You don't yell and scream and say, I'm gonna take my toy and go home. You deal with it. Like we had an issue where someone was complaining about, well, first of all, it ended up not even being a member, but somebody of some political stature felt was somehow insulted by one of our members during the parade. And so we met with the city and decided how we're gonna attack that. Every vest that you see that's working for Chicagoland Toys for Tots Parade is going to have a number clearly visible on their vest. So
Correct.
if you have an issue with any one of our members, they will have a Toys for Tots orange or yellow vest, and it will have a Toys for Tots number on it. Write down that number, and we will do everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen again and get you an apology, whatever you think you need. But that's, not that our members would ever do that, but it makes them a bit more accountable. And plus it gives the city of Chicago and everybody else a way of monitoring us a bit too.
And, while we're talking about that, there's no liquor allowed at the Forest Preserve, so
Nope.
can't drink. In terms of other safety notes, I mean, weather conditions vary in Chicago. It could change from one day to the other. While I was in the green room, so to speak, waiting there, I looked up at the U.S. National Weather Service just to see what the weather was going to to be like on
Okay, what's
December
it gonna be
2nd.
like in 27
In
days?
27 days.
Yes, talk to me.
The weather was snow mixing, AM, snow mixing with sleet and rain.
Wow.
In the PM, sleet and freezing rain. In the evening, snow and sleet late. So you have to use common sense. No matter what the weather is, you have to be careful. You have to drive carefully.
That's right.
There's been days that we've had snow, we've had ice, and I can tell you from my heart, it doesn't matter what the weather is. We have a lot of true believers within our organization, and there'll be people out there on their motorcycles riding down Western Avenue, no matter what the weather is going to be like.
Yes. And for the rest of you intelligent people, if it is that bad and you don't want to get hurt, jump in your car, man. Although we will have streets and sand down there, and been many a time we followed salt trucks going down Western Avenue.
And there's been times when there's been ruts of snow down
Oh,
Western
yeah.
Avenue, and folks are driving their motorcycles down that rut.
Yep.
So, and I know there's been times when I've come home and I've had snow halfway up my windshield, and it's it's not the greatest, but
The first year I was president of this wonderful organization, it snowed. I dropped my bike 3 times in my alley trying to get down there. Okay? It got heavier every time I went to go pick it up. So everybody know that. And I had to drive like a Hawaiian canoe, both my feet straight out just to keep it up till I got to Archer Avenue where, it was salted and dry to get up.
you know what, it's
Because if I didn't show up on my bike, I'd still be hearing about it. You know that, right?
we all, I mean, it comes from our heart, and even on the worst days, it's like pulling your heart out that I can't make the parade, or I can't get my motorcycle from A to B. Folks don't always live within miles of Western Avenue, and sometimes they come from Indiana
That's
to our
right.
parade. They come from Wisconsin.
And thankfully, I'd like to thank Alderman Mitz, Alderman Boyaz, and Alderman Lopez. They had talked to the city council and took a vote. Our parade will start at 9:30 this year. For no other reason than the black ice issues. When people come from that far away, they might have to leave at 7, 6 o'clock. And, like last year was a pretty nice day, but you talk to some of these people, they had a hard time getting up their driveways. Everything was frozen there.
Or get their bike out of their garage.
That's right.
I mean, we talk about black ice. I mean, there's been a few incidents with that, and you have to be careful,
Yes,
because
ma'am.
especially folks
That's right.
leave at 4 or 5 in the morning to get to the woods. I mean, we have people at 5 o'clock lining up
That's
at
right.
5 in the morning, and you leave your house at 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning.
Well, that's my fault. 'Cause when people come up to me and say, I want to lead the parade, I says, not a problem. Get there at 4:30.
it can get hairy sometimes. So you have black ice. You
We're
have-
talking about motorcycles. Oh, we got a caller. Yes, sir. Hello? What's your name?
Yes, I'm trying to find the number of the channel on
Oh.
TV.
Sure. 312. That's
No,
later.
the channel number.
Oh, Channel 21?
Yes, CAN TV Channel 21. If you don't live in Chicago, you want to go cantv.org, and there should be a live feed of this show right now, if you have a computer.
Okay. Okay, so if you're in Chicago, it's 21.
Correct. Mm-hmm. CAN
Okay,
TV
thank you.
21.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Wow.
Well, we were getting back to about driving on black ice. You have wet roads. You got to watch out, especially if the previous days have had ice or some snow. There could be gravel, there could be salt on the roads, and even in the woods. As you come around in a circle, and go around the woods, that there's a possibility there's salt on the ground.
You should have plenty of flaggers to watch that, but once you're on Western Avenue proper, you gotta be careful.
And make sure that you dress appropriately. It's not the day to be wearing gym shoes and shorts on your motorcycle going
Showing off
down.
your ankles to everybody, ain't a good time to do that.
I mean, it's going to be cold, and there's you've got to dress appropriately for the weather, and you could be going 30 or 35 miles an hour down Western Avenue, and it's going to be chilly. So make sure you dress appropriate. Wear heavy gloves as long as you can.
Just remember, you can always take the clothes off. Kinda hard to put them on if you ain't got them.
Really quickly, just about some upcoming events, Lester.
Let me just finish with the motorcycles with that. Remember, 1 pound of pressure will drop tire pressure in your bike for every 10 degrees of temperature change from when you put air in your tire. If you fill up your air in your tire at 80 degrees, it drops down to 20, your tire is going to be 6 pounds of pressure less than what it was at 80 degrees. Make sure you check that, okay? Very, very important. Check out your entire bike. Check everything out. When it's cold out, it's got to work harder to start, got to work harder to stay running. Make sure you don't overheat it. And the frostbite, we'll talk about at the next show. We don't want if somebody falls down, everybody knows there'll be plenty of people there to assist. But anyway, go ahead.
All right, real quick though, I just want to let everybody know that our next, on Friday at Ryan VFW, 5858 South Archer,
Yes.
is going to
State. Go ahead.
is going to be our Military Appreciation Day event.
Right, so come on out and get to know us. Caller, what's your name? Hello? Okay.
The next thing is we've got Tagging Day on November 18th. That's
And
going to
what's
be,
that? That's to let everybody in Chicago know physically that we'll be going down Western Avenue.
correct. And we'll have signs posted along the route just to alert everyone. We'll also have flashing signs
Yes.
prior to the parade as required by the city.
And if anybody wants to take those posters for a souvenir, do me a favor personally, leave it there until after the parade. So you let the sign do its job. And if you want a poster, contact me, call this show, I'll make sure you get one. If you live around there, guard these posters, it could save some lives and let people know less aggravation as far as which side of Western Avenue you should be on.
So the big day is Sunday, December 2nd. That's going to be our 41st Toys for Tots parade. 27 days
That's right.
until the parade.
And there's a lot of stuff we got to do, and we're getting close. We applied for the permit. The city of Chicago requires that we show them proof of insurance. I applied for the permit. We're all ready to get it, but we don't get it until we prove our insurance. Make sure we got the rolling signs. Make sure we mail out the letters, which we should be doing pretty soon, I think. Have this TV show to let everybody know we're going down Western Avenue. And I have all the porta potties everywhere, and the permit from the Cook County and forest reserves and such. Once they approve all of that and prove that we have all that, then they will issue the permit. So all you guys out there that are in the organization, we need all that stuff done as quickly as possible. We can't wait for anybody. We're going to have to go around you if you can't get it done. Correct?
Yes, go ahead.
Other than that, let's all have fun. 27 days, let everybody know in Chicago that one of the coolest things one of the best live events in this city is to watch that parade go down Western Avenue.
And-
If you lived in Toledo and wanted to come to Chicago on vacation, Chicago will send you a Chicago packet while you want to come here on vacation. And believe it or not, one of the things they talk about is our parade. Now, how cool is that?
And it's funny, this week, and even going to all the different stores I go to, I've noticed 2 or 3 people wearing Chicagoland Toys for Tots shirts.
Yes.
And I stopped them and I talked to them, and it's, you know what, it's a good feeling seeing our name all spread
Oh,
all
yeah.
around the city and suburbs.
It's a hell of a, we have to keep it going because that's my biggest job, I think, is to make sure we have a parade next year. You know what I mean? To honor all the people before us, okay? And I guess we're getting ready to be gone. I'd like to thank Andy. Gary, wonderful job on the phones there. Be nicer to these people next time so they stay on the phone though, right?
Well, thanks, Lester, for letting.
Oh, yes, real fast. We got 14 seconds. What's your name, sir? Lady? Hello?
Is George Fortier there?
Yes, sir, you're talking to him.
This is Eric Papa George, Don and Wally's oldest boy. How you doing?
How are you?
3 seconds.
Wow. Give me a call next month, next week, okay? Monday.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you. Tell your dad I said hi and your mom.
All right.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.